$40 piece of glass down the toilet, off to buy another one. Hey guys, what's up? Today I got a little bit of a departure from the normal. If you guys have been watching my videos for a long time, you know that in kind of my spare time, I'll make signs and stuff like that. So today I'm going to show you how I would make a picture frame, I guess, like a normal picture frame you'd buy from the store. Now I've already been to the store, bought some supplies, got a couple things here, and the big reason why I'm doing this is actually because I have a giant poster. You guys have seen some of the like art and stuff that I have hanging around the garage. Framing stuff that's big like that is not cheap. So anyway, a trip to the local hardware store, and about $60 later, and I got what I think should be everything I need except the glass. I'll have to have that cut, but I want to get the frame done first so I know the exact measurements of that glass. So let's get some stuff out and get started on this thing. Aw. Now, obviously I'm not some kind of professional woodworker or any of that, but I have learned a few things over the years, and I have acquired some tools and all that. So I'm going to do what I can with what I got. Hopefully it helps you guys out. Now I know you guys are thinking, come on man, I like the car content. Where's all that at? Well, here's how it's kind of car related. Let's get that in there. I don't know if you guys can see that. I hope you can. But cool old diagram, kind of exploded view poster. It's actually an old Ford dealer poster that my dad found, and of course over the years making these videos, you guys have probably heard plenty about my dad and his antiques and stuff like that. And kind of long story short, well, I work at a different shop now. So anyway, I wanted something in my office that was relatable to what I'm doing, and kind of a cool vintage piece. Here's the ticket. Let's get this out of the way. Oh, pardon me, coming through. Pardon me while I whip my Johnson out here. It's a joke, people. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a Johnson. Now, you're going to notice almost immediately that I don't have the proper tools for the better part of this job. I never do, and like I said before, don't claim to be some kind of woodworker or any of that. I just can usually make stuff look okay with, limited resources, limited tools, whatever. Is it level? Oh, it's bang on. Can you even see me? Well, you can kind of see me. Here, come on in. I got my board marked out. I'm going to cut this thing down. This is going to be kind of my starting template because all my measurements are going to be made off this, since the picture is actually going to inset a little bit. So, I want to get this cut out first. Anywho. In case you're wondering what I'm using, it's just, I don't even know what do they call this stuff? It's that same stuff that pegboard is made out of. It just doesn't have the holes in it. Yeah, whatever that stuff is. Well, if I had a table saw, I probably wouldn't have to get too picky about all this. It would be a lot cleaner cut, but again, not a woodworker. So just a little 150 grit, clean up this edge. There we go. Factory cut. Get out of here. And then for the actual frame itself, I went and got, pardon me, 2 pieces of wood. Now you can use pretty much anything. I don't care. I got oak because, well, it was two that I found that were the nicest ones. It is some of the premium stuff from the hardware store because I plan on staining it and making it try and be presentable and nice. It comes in this nice little wrapping, but yeah, all the other ones I found were not so premium. Anyway, nice little stick of wood there, and yeah, I guess we'll go get the miter saw, right? Yeah, let's do that. Miter saw, miter saw. Yeah, anyway, let's figure out these cuts, and we'll start doing those. Now, as I'm sitting here doing math on this, one thing I need to take into account, how do you, that was what I needed, where to go. There it is. All right, one thing I needed to take into account is that I'm gonna back cut these a little bit, so obviously this board can sit inside of it. That's part of why I wanted to leave that 1.5 inches around, but what I have is a rabbiting bit. So on these pieces of wood, I'm actually gonna take this rabbiting bit and cut along the edge to make that lip so this can sit in there inside the frame. It'll hold the board, this, obviously the picture, and the piece of glass. Actually, before I start cutting anything, I'm gonna router these down. Whoa, tippy. I'm gonna router all these down. Now what I did, because I don't need that full 1/2 inch, down here where you guys can see me, because I don't need that full 1/2 inch of cut, it's only a 1 inch board, I dialed my router into 3/8 of an inch, and that allows me for an 1/8 of an inch board, an 1/8 of an inch piece of glass, and a little fudge room for anything else. And just to make it easier on my life, I'm going to take and router down one side of each of these all the way down before I do any of the miter cutting. That makes sense in my mind anyway. Alright, now that I've successfully turned, you know, 1/4 of the board into funfetti there, yeah, not too bad. I only dinged up the surface that I wanted to keep really nice 5 or 6 times, so that's, you know, awesome. Anyway, so both those are cut. We'll move those off to the side for right now. You know, right over here where I'll surely knock into them and damage them. But otherwise, I think we can start cutting here. You know, one of the main things you always want to do is keep your work area clean. So, you know, we'll just go ahead and do all that. You know, get that out of there. And there we go. Good enough. Perfect, yeah. That'll work. What I've done is went ahead and set my table up. Or I should say what I've done is set my miter up at 45. Now, the professional woodworker is going to double check that 45 with, you know, tools and things and stuff. And I want to actually cut this end because I don't feel like setting this up twice. You know, I'm just going to assume that it's okay. We need a little extra, so guess what? We're gonna do that. I mean, you don't get any better than that. Is this the ideal way to do it? No, it is not. But again, I'm not a woodworker, and I assume if you're watching this video, neither are you. Because I went a little light on the wood here, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and waste as little of this as possible. There we go, just a little snippet. Now you can see that edge is going to sit just like so. Right on there. Can you guys even see that? I have no idea. Now, I am not a guy that likes to do math or any of that, and I sure could probably figure all this out by doing that. But what I'm going to do instead is line up this inside corner here with the inside corner of that. And then I'm going to take my handy marker, make sure that's where I want it. I'm going to just put ever the tiniest little mark right on the inside of there. That's my cut mark. I mean, you know what they say is, you'll measure twice, cut once. I like to just eyeball it. How does that look? Did I cut it short? I mean, that's pretty much right on the money. Okay, cool. Now, basically just rinse and repeat for all the rest of them. Now you'll notice, I'm short there. Well, hopefully I can make this edge. Oh yeah, I got plenty there. That was the hope anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make an exact replica of this one. So I'm exactly the same on the other side, and then start working on the other two. Alright, to make the other cuts, it's going to be just as simple as doing the other one. I'm going to line, I already cut my 45 here. I'm going to line it up right with the edge of that guy, just like so. And make my little mark. There you go. There's my cut line. Just throw her in here and chop it up. Now the astute among you might have already noticed my flaw here, that I measured wrong. But lucky for me, I measured wrong the long way. Where did my darn thing go? I measured to the inside of this 45-degree cut, and what I actually need to do is measure to the inside of this 45-degree cut on my rabbet in here. So the easy way to remedy that, I'm just going to stick it on the underside, line that guy up right, about there, and then mark my cut again and remake that other cut. As I was trying to figure out exactly what I needed these other sides to be, obviously I realized my mistake. Now, again, like I said, amateur woodworker here, not a professional. So, that's my bad. But whatever. I'm sure you guys will forgive me. Well, I mean, every corner is going to look good until it doesn't. I think we might just go straight to gluing and shooting nails. I mean, whatever, right? What could go wrong? Just like you see in all the woodworking videos. Those guys usually use a paintbrush. I prefer my finger. The old shooty boy. Let's stick her together. Flaw design in my workbench here. I can't actually put my two pieces together exactly right. Now I know you don't ever want to shoot with your fingers in the way there like that, but you know, whatever. Alright, let's flip this thing, put it on here, and see how this fits. See if that kind of crappy cut is going to come back to bite me at all. Hope not, but... Oh, I mean, did that just Fit perfectly, or... I mean, you guys, you'd almost think I knew what I was doing if you saw that. Look at that. That looks good. Alright, well, a couple dings in it. That ain't gonna hurt nothing. Anyway, I'm gonna let this glue set up. Obviously, you know, she's got some brad nails in it, so it isn't gonna go anywhere. But I'm gonna let that glue set up for a while, and then I'm gonna come back and do a little bit of sanding on this just to clean up some of the rough edges. Probably should have done that before I pieced it all together. And we might throw some stain on it. Well, maybe I'll mix up some of that, a little bit of sawdust and glue, and patch some of those holes up. Anyway, yeah, let it sit and think about what it's done for a while. Cool. Well, now that everything's had ample time to dry, I've got it all sanded, I've got it all wiped down, I'm going to go ahead and stain the wood. So I just picked some Minwax. Don't really care. Frame doesn't really matter. Whatever you want to coat it in. You could paint it if you used cheaper wood or something like that. This is kind of the fun part. You can do really whatever you want to finish this thing. And again, you know, most actual woodworkers, you'd see them grab a paintbrush to do this or something along those lines. I like using a rag. That is not the color I remember that being. But you know what? That's all right. Not ideal, but that'll work. That's for sure. Now this glass, this worked out awesome. You can obviously see the name brand on there of the hardware store that I went to. But it got me thinking a little bit while I was there and talking to them to make sure you support your local businesses, whatever it may be. The mom and pop shops of the world. These guys are, you know, obviously True Value is kind of a big corporate brand. But these guys are a independent. Just runs through True Value. They've been in our town for like 120 years or something like that. Tell you what, you don't stay in business that long. Just on good luck. Anyway, you gotta be careful with it. When I set it down at the counter, I might have to clean the crap out of this, but when I set it down at the counter, kind of bobbled it a little bit. Heard the corner hit the floor. It left a little tiny chip and a crack in the glass. Kind of, once it's in there, hopefully smash everything down flat. You can see kind of the wrinkles in it. Hopefully that'll all work out, but man, is that going to look neat. I want to throw the frame on. There's that little crack I was talking about. A little chip that's 100% me, but hopefully the frame covers that all up. We'll see. Let's test run the frame. way for. There we go. Look at that. I am really, really happy with how that turned out. You can see I left that wood, whatever that stuff's called, that backing. Obviously we left that space all the way around, but when I was staining the wood, I stained this to darken it up as well. I wanted that deep contrast on it, and even that I'm really happy with. Look at that. Gosh, you'd almost think I was a professional woodworker. Look at this joinery. Beautiful. That is awesome looking. So yeah, for 60 bucks in materials, and that's only because I had to buy the rabbet bit, so even less, about 45, 50 bucks in materials, and then a $40 piece of glass. It's a little less than that, I think, 38 something. For under $100, I got this thing framed to my liking, exactly how I want it, and sure as heck didn't spend $650. Man. Right, well, I did a little bit of work off camera here. I got the glass cleaned. I actually got everything all the way installed, and what I used was just one of these power staplers on the back side to retain everything in here. It's fairly common on like newer stuff. That's how they'll do it, is just have, you kind of set it in like so, staple it at a little bit, almost like a 45-degree angle against that backboard. This thing's not powerful enough to shoot a staple through anything or really even seat it into this oak or into that brown board. So it actually works out perfect for that. I'll try and throw a clip or two in here of, you know, this thing shooting some staples and what the back looks like. But otherwise, this thing's done. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm pumped with how it turned out. It looks awesome. It's not super elaborate, which I didn't really want it to be. Kind of goes with what I got here for the picture itself. Now all that's left really is to hang it. Well, there we go. That thing turned out awesome. It looks exactly like I hoped it would, and fills that space out perfect. So, for a little bit of money, a little bit of time, I'm pretty happy with that thing. Anyway, so I hope that helped you guys out. Hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you learned something. Maybe you didn't. But anyway, I got a giant mess to clean up now. So, we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.